This garden tractor is used by my grandson, and I sent him this picture just for fun, and he was really excited until he realized those were just both the wheels, one from the other side. At that time, I didn't have any plans to do it, but after seeing his reaction, he's a little motorhead and has always loved dualies, so why not? So I'm going to start off giving you a quick abbreviated version of what I've got in mind, what I'm doing, and basically it's to put dualies on the garden tractor for my grandson. This is a tractor, a John Deere tractor that he's using, and I did want it, he uses it for a plow also, and so I wanted to leave room for chains. If you're not using chains, you wouldn't have to. You could bring these wheels tight together. Ever since playing with Matchbox cars, he's been all about dualies, still loves dualies, and so Coulter, this is for you. These wheels did not have any holes in them. They're held on with a little clip on a shaft, and I drilled all the holes. I drilled 9/16, and I planned on using 1/2-inch bolt, carriage bolt, or all thread to tighten them up together. I like the idea of using a carriage bolt that'd be long enough, and then instead of a round hole, you'd make that square so that the carriage bolt wouldn't turn when you tighten the nut on the outside. I didn't like the idea of using 2 wrenches. It's going to be awkward to assemble it that way. Make yourself a good template, because when you mark them all, you want all the holes to line up. And on the template, I just used a small hole to mark for the center punch to start the holes. It needs to be a spacer, at least on my wheels, to go around this hub, and this metal is tapered from high to low, so it couldn't be any wider than that. You're going to make it whatever works for you. I know a lot of people are not going to have access to metal fabrication. I did one version out of 2x10, just blocks of wood that I cut out and put together, and that is going to work just fine. I made the diameter different sizes depending on what the wheel would allow for. If you made it the smaller one all the way across, that's going to work fine too. So this would be held together with a piece of all thread. Got the holes there, holes here, and then a nut on each side of the wheel. The next version, what I plan to use, was a piece of metal with pipe. I've got a bunch of this pipe that I rescued from a dumpster heading to the landfill, so good time to use it up. And originally I planned on using a piece of all thread all the way through, but as I was making it, I kind of like the idea of fastening one wheel at a time. So I welded a bolt through these holes, and then the pipe went over the top of that bolt. That way I can install it on one wheel, slide the wheel on, and use that little clip to hold it in place. And then the other wheel will install easier from the outside. And since I've got a bunch of this pipe and extra weight is going to be good, like wheel weights, what I've decided to do is add more of these pipes all the way around on this ring, and then inside I've got room to add another layer of pipes, as long as I leave room so it doesn't hit this hub. So this is how they turned out, filling it all in for extra weight. It was pretty heavy. I did give up access to that clip, this clip in here, so I'll have to install the wheel and then install this. But I'm happy with it. So if you need any more details than that, you can watch the rest of the video. If you have any other ideas, go ahead and leave them as comments for other people. Share your ideas with other people, but I will say it's a lot of work for me to put the video part together. When I get it done, I'm just done with it. And I never go back and read comments. I don't respond to comments, so whatever you think of that, that's just what it is. But the comments might be used by someone else. So I enjoy working on this stuff. I don't enjoy doing the video. Hope you enjoy watching it though. Just a jigsaw is plenty accurate for this. You do have quite a few to cut out, so whatever works out for you. I'm going to go ahead and use the bandsaw, and I've got it set up to change the radius with the pin. So drill a hole whatever radius you need, and then a 1/8 pin will go into here and into here to rotate it. Works out pretty good. So the first piece that's going in there has got to be beveled off. The edge has to be beveled off to fit this radius, and also it tapers, hopefully you can see that, but it tapers from here on down to flat. So I'm going to have to take this off here. This has been a handy disc. My brother got it for me. I use it enough that I went ahead. The sandpaper is kind of a pain in the butt to change on there, so I bought 2 of these so I have 2 different grips, and it's pretty aggressive. Hopefully you can see it. So that's what I'll need to do to relieve that for the beveled wheel. Here's the info on that if you're interested. It's not a paid ad. You get the idea. I've got all the pieces numbered so they go in the same way each time. See the red A, and that's 1A, 2A. So what I did as I was putting them in, I would index them and then index these 2 and then drill these 2 with the 9/16 and keep working up to help give myself a little bit extra room to run the all thread. It worked out pretty good in the end. I think this would be a much better look if you don't need room for chains. And this is about as far as I'm going to take the wood version, since mine is going to be metal. So it's got all thread going through. You could use bolts, and the next time together I would go ahead and glue all those wood blocks together so it's one piece. I'm not going to cut this all thread off because I'm not going to use it. So if I was going to use this wood one for a final version, I would have, let me just made it look nicer. Either make it more uniform, either have them all this same diameter, or probably this had to be a little bit smaller than these 3, so make all these 4 this same diameter. I was handicapped a little bit by, I was using a 2x10, which wasn't really wide enough to make my full diameter, so I could use a bigger piece of wood, make it look nicer, or just make it 9 1/4. But probably paint it too. On the metal version, I'm going to use this same template and cut 2 circles out of plate steel and then hold them together. I have a bunch of this 1-inch gas pipe, so I'll cut that as a spacer between the 2 metal discs, And then I was going to run a bolt all the way through, but I kind of like the idea it's going to be a rigid piece of just welding some bolts onto it, and then so the install will be that from each side. And I was going to just do 4 of these, but it's just as I was thinking about, extra weight in here is good, is a plus, and I've got a bunch of this pipe, so I could just do pipes all the way around here with the extra weight, super strength, and I could add a bunch of extra scrap metal just for extra weight. We'll see. Made a jig to practice cutting out the circles. It's going to be easy. Looks like this is going to work. Let's check it out. Well, that wasn't ideal. My hood was too dark and I could not see a thing. So, I'll give it another go. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Having trouble cutting through. I've been cutting with this and it was cutting this steel really easy before. So after I had built the jig and was playing around with the torch, I had changed the tip on it, and this tip doesn't go into my hole near like the original one, so this would be down closer to the metal. So I'm going to give that a try and see if that's what the problem is. I didn't think it would make that much difference though. Try again. Now that was nice. Well, I was abusing my workbench a little bit, so I added another wet towel. Hopefully that'll help, and I think this one's going to go a lot better. Yes, it did. So the disc turned out pretty good. I was actually expecting a little bit better. A lot of it is really nice and smooth and clean, but my problem was the starting and stopping. This area, the start and the stop is just, it's okay. I mean, it's plenty good for what I'm doing, but if you need a nice smooth circle, I didn't get there. Well, I've got no idea if this is going to work, but let's just see what happens. Not bad. I'm ending up with a lot of sections of pipe to make the dually spacers, And so I built this jig to use the plasma cutter to cut them to length, and then also I use it to spin the sections and clean up the ends and bevel the ends to weld them. Been working pretty good. I cannot find any videos of putting all the pieces together for the final product, but looking at the pictures, you can see what I ended up doing. So I guess this is where the video will abruptly end.